Proudly presented by Pentz Homes and part of the Hitting the Hardwood podcast network. This is Lynx Happy Hour.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Lynx Happy Hour, where Lynx basketball is always on special. My name is Terry Horstman. I host the show. The show is part of the Hitting the Hardwood podcast network, with the Hitting the Hardwood podcast with Mitchell Hansen, the Missing Lynx podcast with Andrew Dukowitz, and of course, this delightful program here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday, August 8th. Tip-off between the Lynx and Mystics is mere hours away. Sorry for getting this episode up late, but you know what? This is just going to be ideal pregame listening for you, whether you're on your way to the game, whether you're getting to a bar of their own or somewhere else to watch tonight's action. This will just be a great audio accompaniment for how you prepare to see the Lynx try to make it 26-5. Wow. Got a jam-packed show for you today. I was lucky enough to catch up with Alanna Smith when the team was on the road earlier this week. Lan was kind enough to call me join via phone call from Seattle. We talk about, all kinds of things, primarily her defensive performance and if she is a defensive player of the year shoe-in candidate. I think she's got my vote for that right now. Would love to hear who you all think is the prime competition for her getting that end of season award. First team all defense for sure, as Coach Reeve mentioned after last week's victory against the Liberty. I still just can't get over how good Lan was in that game as the primary defender on Jonquel Jones. For most of the evening. Again, Jonquel went like 21 minutes between buckets. We're not talking about that stat enough. Jonquel Jones was on the court for most of that game. 21 minutes without buckets for Jonquel. Lan was spectacular and has continued, hard word there, to be spectacular all year and in the games since that win over New York on July 30th, despite getting a hilariously bad whistle in some of those games, especially on Tuesday night against Seattle. But no harm, no foul, I guess, pun intended, as the Lynx get that dub in Seattle. Of course, there's the DiJonai Carrington trade that we will have to talk about in depth. My God, y'all, I can't overstate my fandom for DiJonai Carrington. Maybe my favorite player in the league. During last year, the year before, she's been such a great player with Connecticut. If you read my work over at thenexthoops.com, you may remember sort of a double feature that I wrote during the semifinals last year that focused on DiJonai Carrington and Bridget Carlton, who finished first and third in the most improved player voting, respectively. And just kind of the long, winding road of being second-round draft picks to primary players on a championship contending team. And the cool journey that both of them have had. Now teammates. I'm such a big fan of DiJonai. We'll talk more about that. I'll post some clips from practice and shoot around. We got to meet DiJonai for in-person media after Thursday's practice. I'll share some of those clips with you all and some more fun stuff. But let's get in to my conversation from earlier this week with Alanna Smith. This episode of Lynx Happy Hour is brought to you by Pentz Homes. The team at Pentz Homes has experience working with first-time home buyers, folks selling their first home and buying their next place, to people looking to downsize. With the best tools, technology, and trusted vendors to help with any home project, Pentz Homes is a top choice for buyers and sellers. For more info and to set up a time to meet with Nate and the team to talk about your home buying or selling needs, visit pentzhomes.com. That is Pentz, PentzHomes.com. All right, kind enough to join me for a few minutes today from beautiful Seattle, Washington, is Lynx starting center Alanna Smith. Lan, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you doing today? How is it in Seattle right now?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And it is beautiful in Seattle. I'm just sitting, actually looking out across the lake right now. So got a very nice outlook.
Nice. Yeah, sounds gorgeous. I love the Pacific Northwest. And I know you probably don't have much spare time, but with a couple days in between a game, it's probably the most you can expect during a busy season. Do you have any Seattle go-tos? I know it's a great coffee city, obviously. Anything you gotta for sure hit up when you have a few moments to spare when you're in Seattle?
Yeah, I always go to Storyville Coffee. It's like
Okay.
one of my all-time faves, and they've got a really cool little cafe right near the market. So that's one that I always like to go to, but I tend to cafe and restaurant hop when I'm out here because I just feel like the food scene is so good. So there's so many places to go.
For sure. Definitely for coffee. Because my first question is going to be non-basketball. The WNBA has a trade deadline coming up, but you being one of the probably the busiest person I've ever met, I know you've got a thesis deadline coming up. So obviously the coffee is essential. How many weeks away are you from needing to turn in your thesis paper? And without getting too into the weeds, how is that process going for you?
I think I'm 9 weeks
Okay.
away from the thesis being officially due.
Okay.
And it's been challenging, I think, is how I would describe it. But also, it's taught me a lot about just like what I'm capable of and what it takes to just do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll be happy when it's done, definitely relieved, but I think it was a really good experience for me, just like knowing what it takes to be able to juggle different things on your plate and be able to do them both successfully. I think it was a really, really cool learning experience.
Excellent. Well, that kind of segues into my next question on the topic of doing hard things and achieving hard things. We've talked with you about uh, everything you've gone through in your career to this moment, but also just how well things have gone for you in Minnesota, both on the court and off it. And last season, I know we sort of referenced it maybe when we talked in training camp as sort of several pinnacles of your career kind of happening at the same time. This year, it sort of seems that those pinnacles have not only been reached but exceeded, especially on the defensive end of the floor, both for yourself and for the team. Team once again is leading the league in most defensive metrics. You're in the defensive player of the year conversation. Cheryl, after the last game, said, yeah, first team all defenses should be a guarantee. What's been the key for both yourself individually, but also the team in reaching the level that you guys set for yourselves last year and even pushing beyond it?
I think defense and like being really, really good at it takes a lot of mental dedication. I think like the game of basketball is so quick and it changes constantly. And so being on the defensive end, you really have to lock in and focus and like be really, really sharp. And it's like anything, the first time you do something, you're not going to be great at it. And the more you work on it and think about it and refine your craft, the better you get. And so I think like I'm really lucky that I'm in a space where defense is highly valued. And so we practice and I'm around other great defenders, so you learn from others. And I think it only makes sense that it's getting better because we're applying ourselves and learning and growing in that space and like actually practicing and trying to be better. So yeah, you see it on a team level, you see it on an individual level. And I mean, we're only reaping the benefits of it.
For sure. And I mean, obviously you're playing with the reigning defensive player of the year in Nafisa Collier. You guys had a great connection last year that has only, gotten better. Anyone who's ever watched a basketball game can see that. How helpful has that partnership been for you in your career? And well, it sounds like kind of a dumb question, but also just how fun is it getting to play with Nafisa?
Oh, it's the freaking best. Just like on the basketball side of thing, like everyone always says, iron sharpens iron. Like it's well known that when you play and practice with great players, it only makes you better. And she's one of those people that like she could write a textbook on it. So just being around Fee and watching her and playing against her in practice and then playing with her, like it only helps my game. And then just as a person as well, like Fee's become one of my closest friends on the team. And so being able to take things really serious, like on the basketball side of things, but then have a laugh afterwards and just hang out and see like a side of Fee that not many other people get to see. Like it's really special. And so I'm just like super grateful that I've had the opportunity to connect with someone like that who's the best at what they do, and then also like getting to know her outside of that as well.
For sure. After the New York game last week, coach was talking about the many things you do well, but also just how much pride you take in the matchups that you're assigned with and how difficult some of those assignments are. I don't know if an assignment in professional basketball gets much more difficult than guarding Jonquel Jones, which you have a lot of experience doing. But in that game last week, there is 20 plus minutes where Jonquel barely didn't score a point, didn't even have many statistics. I don't claim to ever write the most eloquent notes during a game, but the number of times I wrote down like Land's defense, holy shit, was definitely more than one. Just how difficult is that, but like how fun is it to be in that atmosphere too, knowing that you're going up against one of the best and just holding yourself to that standard?
Yeah, I mean, I am a really competitive person, and so I whenever I get the chance to play against like high caliber players like Jonquel, it just like kind of sets off that competitive alarm. Like, okay, like I have to really lock in now, and I want to take that challenge head on, and I think it's really cool being a part of the WNBA and having the chance to defend players like that and play against players like Jonquel, who are majorly successful, highly talented players. And then like, yeah, you have to look at it with a sense of like excitement, like this is really cool. And then when you're successful, it just like, it gets your confidence going, and it's the beauty of a team sport as well. Like that energy is infectious. Like I think that we all kind of have that same mindset when it comes to like playing against really, really good teams too. Like this is going to be a really fun challenge for all of us individually. And we all kind of lift each other up to that level of excitement. And yeah, when you're successful in doing so, it makes all that hard work, like the sweat, blood, and tears that you put in, it makes it all worth it. And I think back to like last year playing against them in the finals over and over again, and you got to take something away from that as well. So you're playing against some of these players a lot, so just learning in each matchup. And I think, they learn too, but ultimately, like we got the win in the end, so I was pretty happy with it.
There you go. For sure. Yeah, no, that reminds me of just when the Lynx signed you and you were announced as a free agent acquisition. And the first thing Fee said to any of us was, after playing against you, she went up to Cheryl and said, "Sign Land, because I'm done with this. I want her on the team now." So obviously, yeah, Jonquel, tough test. Who are some other sort of individual matchups
throughout the league where like, you know, it's going to be tough. But at the same time, you just like are really looking forward to getting your hands on, you know, that competitive challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brianna Jones is someone that comes to mind, like just one, her physical advantage, just her strength and stuff, but she's also like technically really skilled as well, her footwork and her finishing ability. So defending her is always a big task, and an exciting one. Who else? I mean, even we're in Seattle right now, like guarding someone like Necker, who in her 13th or 14th year, I think she's 13 maybe, she's playing some of her best, it looks like some of her best basketball, you know, like she's having an incredible year. And like having to guard someone who's a multi-level scorer like that and just really, really smart is also a challenge. Those are the two that come to mind just off the top of my head.
For sure. And I know you would always rather let your game speak for yourself. But I do have to ask, do you feel like you're playing like a defensive player of the year candidate right now?
I think I've played myself into contention. Yeah, definitely. Something that I've made a big focus on for this year. And we've still got a chunk of season left to go. So I'm excited to further my case, I think.
For sure. All right, just one more and I'll get you out of here. But obviously, it's trade season right now, and obviously that's always, you know, kind of tough to see teammates go and new people coming in. But you get another Stanford graduate on your team and a player you played with in college, in DiJonai Carrington. How exciting is that for you to kind of, you know, play with her again and have two trees on the same team?
I mean, we were talking about it today. We were saying how many years has it been since we last played together? Maybe like 8 or 9 years. Like it's been a while, but
right.
But I think what's like so cool about DiJonai is I think that she's perfect for us. We're talking about defense a lot right now, but like she's going to be a massive addition for us on the defensive end, and like she just gets it. Like she understands the importance of it, and she just plays so hard, and she's got that IQ too, which I think is going to be really, really valuable. And yeah, if I know anything about Dee, she's as competitive as the next person. So she's going to help us have that fire and bring that fight. And it's going to be really cool.
For sure. A lot of defensive talk, but also we are contractually obligated to ask primarily about defense as part of the Minnesota Lynx media. So thank you for taking the time to chat today, Lan. Enjoy Seattle, and good luck against the Storm tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right, let's have some fun and hear from the Lynx's newest member, reigning most improved player, reigning first team all defense selection, DiJonai Carrington. This is the audio from DiJonai Carrington's first in-person media availability after Lynx practice, which was Thursday, August 7th. Now, a lot of players in the facility were still, you know, getting some work in on the court afterwards. Some Wolves guys came in. I didn't see who. I think it may have been some Summer League, G League guys. But wasn't not going to name names anyway. But people were being loud in the gym is what I'm saying. And there's parts of it where it starts out pretty loud in the background, but it does get a little bit quieter as the interview goes on. I've edited it for a little bit of clarity and length, but I do think it's important to, you know, sit and really, you know, spend time with the perspective of players, especially players new to the team. There's a lot of discourse out there, and within that discourse is just a lot of bullshit. So if you haven't listened to DiJonai Carrington answer questions at length, I think this is a great thing to do. She's very, very smart, very fun to talk to. Also talking X's and O's into the nitty gritty of basketball with her is great. And she's, also very funny, refers to herself as the femme bud in the Stud Buds universe during this interview. And it starts in a good place. My colleague and Lynx radio play-by-play host Sloan Martin asked her about the seatbelt celebration that we saw a lot when Carrington was in Connecticut and haven't seen yet this year. And that's just kind of when the audio gets the most clear. There's still some instances of background noise, so please just bear with me. But Sloan asks a great question. DiJonai has a great answer, and most of the audio is pretty clear from there. So yeah, here is the first interview opportunity with new Lynx acquisition DiJonai Carrington.
Explain for us what the seatbelt, like, what does that mean? That, like, the time of the game, what's that like? How that's like your thing, and like what fans can expect when that happens.
Well, I actually haven't done it yet this season, but it's just basically, when you're in your seatbelt, you're strapped in, you can't go nowhere. So that's the meaning behind it. Is when I do it, that means I'm locking you up, you're not going nowhere. So it'll come soon, hopefully.
DiJonai, you have a familiarity with a lot of players on this team, but also played against the Lynx twice in the playoffs back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Cheryl mentioned really becoming a true fan of yours during last series, especially in Game 5, even a game that didn't go your team's way. But just what do you remember about that game and the level of competitiveness that you had against the Lynx in that series?
I mean, if you go back to even just last year, the first time we played the Lynx when I was in Connecticut, I think it was Lucy hit that game winner, like a deep three or something like that. So we've always had really competitive battles, any team I've been on against the Lynx. And that's something that it's always been so hard to guard them, because you can't just take away one or two people, because they will swing the ball and find an open person. So, that Game 5, obviously there was a lot on the line, and second half, it kind of seemed like we rolled over a little bit, but that's never in my DNA. I'm always going to compete to the end, and I think that's what stuck out to her. It's just the fight that I had, and I mean, it's not even something that I really think about, because that's just how I play, regardless if it's Game 5 or Game 1 of the season. So I was, obviously delighted that she loved that about me, but that's just me, honestly.
She was talking here a little bit about your ability to cross match and just the versatility you bring on defense. We saw it a little bit. I know that Courtney was talking some about the Seattle game, about how you were able to switch on to Sky, right?
Yeah.
You can't really play the bully ball with you.
Yeah.
What is it just about you that allows you to be so versatile on defense, you think, and how do you see that fitting in here?
I would say my speed and my strength and just the IQ. I, like Courtney said, am able to get up and guard point guards because I am long and I play with my hands and I'm quick. So able to get through screens and pick up the ball full court. And then as far as guarding a 3 or maybe a 4 getting rolled down, I think my strength and my size allows me to be able to battle in there until I am able to get bumped out. And just my ability to rebound or keep people off the glass, whether that's me not getting it but them not getting it as well. I think those are some of the things. And then I'm grateful. I'm excited to be able to alleviate some of the defensive assignments that K-Mac has been having to guard. I know it takes a lot from her on the offensive end, so to be able to just be that person that's blowing up screens, that's guarding the best perimeter player on the other team, I think it'll bring a lot of different things that you'll see on the offensive end for our team, because we'll be more fresh and we'll have just a little bit more bounce, a little bit more step to us.
When did you first kind of get an inkling that something might be going on?
Whatever day I got traded. I don't know what day it was. Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
When you heard the news first, what was your reaction?
I was excited. I mean, like I said, I'm a winner, and this is a winning organization. So to be able to come in here and also this late in the season for a team that's already number one, to feel like there's something that you can bring to even boost where they already are with a 5-6 game cushion, it's definitely a good feeling just to know that it is recognized from people who are at the top. So it felt good. Obviously, I miss my teammates in Dallas. I grew great sisterhood with them. But at the end of the day, it's about basketball. It's about winning, and that's what I'm here to do.
DiJonai, how do you feel like things are clicking so far with especially the defensive concepts, the shell help? Is it kind of like a fun puzzle for you to step into? And how is it like adjusting to what's being asked of you?
It's been fun, yeah. I've talked about this a little bit, but just the way that everyone's on a string and you can really, really play all out on the ball or in whatever coverage that you're in, because you know that the people behind you are going to be there in case you do get clipped or in case you do slip up on an assignment. So I love that. It gives me a lot of confidence playing on the ball, and I can really be locked in on it. I trust the communication behind me. I trust the rotation behind me. And then on the other side, I trust that if I go help somebody, they're going to have my back too. So it's really easy, honestly. It's been seamless. It's just about kind of philosophies and what Coach Reeves, what she's trying to, like, in Dallas, we influence middle. Now, okay, so we're influencing baseline. So it's just different things like that, like conceptually. But as far as just not thinking on the court, it's been great. I know if I go, they're coming next.
On the offensive end, just what excites you most about kind of schemes there?
Just the movement. Everybody's looking. Everybody plays with their head up, whether that's in transition or whether that's coming off of a ball screen. Everybody's heads up. Everybody's cutting, moving, screening. Nobody's just standing around watching whoever's in the actual action. So for me, as someone who is an off-ball cutter, screener, slipper, I like to get out and run in transition. This is ideal for me. Like I said, I played with Courtney and T before, and I know that they like to push it ahead. And every time I see them have the ball, you're going to see those first 3 steps, I'm going to be out. So I'm excited for that.
Don't mind me asking, too. I know that T was just here talking to us and said that she heard the news from Courtney and I think sent you the sideways eye emoji. What was your response?
I told her, I said, I'll see you. I think she texted me. I was like, I'll see you tonight. So they were supposed to come get me from the airport. But my flight ended up getting pushed back a little bit, so they didn't. But I told her, I was like, I'll see you tonight.
On the transition offense thing, the Lynx have been top 2 in that area all season. You finished the top 3 in fast break points per game last year. Just what is it about your game that can make something that they've already done great at this year, but like even better and take that to the next level?
I mean, we all know I'm at the rim. So I think the identity of a lot of the people on this team is more of a spacer, more of a shooter. So to have me, who I'm running to get to the rim, and maybe they're running to get to the 3-point line. So I think that I can suck in the defense by rim running and allow those sprays to be even easier, just drawing a lot of people because, when you see somebody coming at you fast, full speed towards the rim, you're going to naturally just get sucked in, even if it is a K-Mac out there because you're thinking rim. So I think just that dynamic of having lethal shooters and me who's running hard to the rim and can finish is going to be really tough for people to stop. And it's not that they didn't have that already, but for me, that's my identity, is to get out, get to the rim, and suck in as much defense as I can, and then we can figure it out from there.
Can you drift ahead and maybe think about, first answer you talked about this facility and the off season. Can you drift ahead and hope maybe this is a long-term home?
Hey, you never know. Obviously, a lot of us are going to be free agents in the coming months, so it's all up in the air. But I'm happy where I am, and I'm excited for whatever is to come.
What was it like hanging out with Courtney and T when you guys were in Connecticut together?
Oh my gosh. I mean, y'all don't see the half, but it's great. And I've loved that we've continued to have this close relationship, even on different teams. Courtney and we actually met in AU in 2022, whatever the first season it was, and then that year she came back to Connecticut. So T was already there, and we've just continued to blossom this relationship since then. And I told them I'm the femme bud with my pink hair. It's not their same color, but yeah, we're locked in for sure. It's been great.
They need to switch the rose gold.
I think they need a little blonde in there or something, right?
Really quick, you talked to us about just kind of your first reaction, but with practice day, what did they have you doing today? Just kind of take us through that, what that was like.
We did a lot. We got up and down. We went through, Washington stuff. We went through our stuff, and I think they're just trying to get me familiar with play calls. Try to pick things up on the fly, but also it's easy to do things against nobody. So trying to do it live, I think, has really helped me because you can really see the reads and see what we're looking for out of things, as opposed to just dummy offense where it's like, okay, you're going to pass here, then pass here. Like, yeah, I could do that. Anybody can do that. So we did a lot of up and down, a lot of contained 5-on-5 in the half court too. So it was great for me. I was able to walk through some more stuff after practice and just make sure that I'm comfortable with at least, 5 to 10 calls for tomorrow's game.
What is it, I guess, Cheryl mentioned that you guys are still kind of getting to know each other, but what is your impressions of Cheryl been so far?
She's been cool, You never really know coming into a program with an established coach, an established, team. But she's great. She's fun. She's lighthearted, but she's also focused, and she's going to keep us disciplined and held accountable for our actions on and off the court. And I love that. I don't, want anybody who's going to just allow me to be mediocre. But also I love the lightheartedness because I am a very down-to-earth, and I like to have fun and play free. And I think when you're having fun, that's when it's the best on the court. So I've loved that kind of dynamic and the balance that she has. And, just seeing the interactions that she has with other people, too, it makes me more comfortable just knowing I could be myself because I am a little out there sometimes, but I'm reeling it in.
Did you overlap with Lamb at all at Stanford?
Yeah, we played together for 3 years.
Oh, cool.
She's a year older, well, technically a year older than me, but I did a 5th year. So, yeah, we did my freshman through my junior year. We were super close at Stanford, actually. Really great friends, and we've always kept a close relationship, too.
I mean, you mentioned, you know that if you get beat on the outside that someone's going to be behind you.
Right.
Is it a little weird having Land back behind you then?
No, not weird at all. I know she's coming to block that shot. She's always been great at that since college. She's been a great shot blocker. I think it's a really underrated thing of her game because she's not super tall. She's not super, stocky, but she finds a way to get her hands on the balls, whether that's, just deflections on post entries or whether that is blocks at the rim.
Would you be surprised she's getting her master's degree?
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. Like, literally now.
Wow. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know that. Thank you, man. She's got it. Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, DJ.
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, we are going to close out this episode with a couple of sound bites from Coach Reeve. I want to share some of the thoughts of hers that she shared with us yesterday in regards to DiJonai. I'm not going to play the whole interview, but she confirmed some things of note that, DiJonai as a restricted free agent last year was something of a target of the Lynx during the offseason. So the Lynx conducted a very thorough vetting process of DiJonai back in January of 2025. Now, of course, that, 4-team to 10-team trade in the offseason, depending on how you look at it. I think officially a 4-teamer, but kind of the roots of it grew it into a 10-team trade, sent DiJonai to the Dallas Wings. But the Lynx were serious about potentially acquiring Carrington in the offseason. I don't know much more about what that move would have had to have looked like for it to become closer to a reality. But that, just shows you that this is a player that's been top of mind for Coach Reeve and company for a long time. So this isn't just, kind of trade deadlines looming, got to do something. Who's on the block? Carrington. Dallas is trying to make moves and get rid of players for future assets and whatnot. So I think there is people always ask kind of when did the process of this trade start to come together? And I mean, you can think back to January when Cheryl was thinking about what the team might look like this season and clearly was imagining roles for DiJonai and what she could possibly do then, or at least the very foundation of what that acquisition might look like for this team back in January. What I will share for sure, my colleague on the beat, Andrew Dukowitz, asked a great question about how players who do not suffer from the disease of me is a pretty clear level of criteria that players have to be part of this organization. Andrew asked about that, and we got this great soundbite on what Cheryl knows about DiJonai as just from the years of competing against her, game planning for her, and whatnot, what she still has to know, but then also just a great callback to last season's WNBA semifinals and the way in which Carrington played and conducted herself in that Game 5 that the Lynx won. That, the scoreboard looks better. The Lynx won by 11, but we're up by 24 points in the second half. and wasn't Connecticut's day. But DiJonai had a great game that day, 17 and 12, and led the Sun in both points and rebounds. And as you can expect always from DiJonai Carrington, played her ass off. Here's Cheryl.
You talk a lot about, getting players in here that don't have the disease of the league. Obviously, watching Carrington the last 4 years, she seems to fit that mold. But what did you see out of her that kind of solidified it, that should be a good piece to add in from a personality?
I think more than anything is, I have to learn a lot about Nay. I think getting the players are just terrific resources. And I think there's still a lot left to learn. She has to learn about us and our organization, and the same, for us to learn more about her. Clearly, as we go into free agency, we're both going to have the option to continue or not to continue based on what we learn here. I think what we really embraced was we felt like we could use a little more help as we made this run. And the style of play to complement our perimeter of Courtney, Mac, and BC. A player that plays differently from them. A player that gives you the ability to maybe defensively do some things different. You can cross match and maybe you can do some things that that is helpful in the playoffs. That was really our focus. Not so much, we relied on the players from a personality standpoint because frankly I don't know a lot about DiJonai. The little bit that I know, I've enjoyed. I enjoy her as a competitor, I can tell you that. She's a competitor times 10. Go back and look at Game 5 in the Target Center and watch DiJonai's level of compete, regardless of what the score was or regardless of what was happening. And I really grew in my fandom, during that game in particular.
All right, so after we were done talking about DiJonai Carrington, the trade, and all the different looks that the Lynx can do now, Cheryl we kind of broke for the end of media availability, and then Cheryl brought us back so that she could speak on the disturbing, disgusting, and dangerous trend of individuals hurling sex objects onto the court at WNBA arenas, which has happened several times now. It happened twice again in Chicago last night at the Atlanta Dream Chicago Sky game. And it felt a little... I felt dumb that none of us asked about it. Definitely kind of a humbling moment, but I'm glad Cheryl said, hey, we're going to talk about this today. Because this is, she didn't say this is bullshit, but I mean, it is bullshit. She's not wrong to think that, nor is anyone wrong to think that. And it's getting out of hand, and the league absolutely needs to address this for all of the reasons, for the level of disrespect that it is, for how actually dangerous that it is. So I'm going to play that soundbite from Cheryl because we need to do what we can to push this out far and wide. But the thesis of it is stop laughing about this. This isn't funny. Fucking Donald Trump Jr. made a joke about it on Instagram. The worst people on the planet and the worst people on the internet are just cackling, amused by this. And I think you can't snap people into attention and stop something from being the butt of a joke until you just simply refuse to accept it. And so she gave a pretty powerful, poignant statement to end media availability yesterday, and she wasn't holding a mic, but it was an absolute mic drop moment. And I'm hopeful that last night incidents in Chicago were the last that we'll see of this fucking ridiculous behavior, and that the league gets it under control before someone gets hurt. And it's enough is enough. And anyway, let's hear from Cheryl one more time.
Hey, if I could, I do want to, I know that there's this distraction, I guess, if you will, of what's happening in some of the arenas around the league with regard to the disruption of throwing things onto the court. Obviously, you guys know what the object is. And I just want to comment on, this has been going on for centuries, the sexualization of women. This is the latest version of that. And it's not funny. And it should not be the butt of jokes on any radio shows or in print or in any comments. The sexualization of women is what's used to hold women down. And this is no different. This is just its latest form. And we should write about it in that way. And these people that are doing this should be held accountable. And we're not the butt of the joke. They're the problem. And we need to take action. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, as ever, to Coach Cheryl Reeve for always keeping it 100. And thank you, Lynx fans, for listening to this episode of Lynx Happy Hour, where Lynx basketball is always on special. Special shout out to my presenting sponsor, Pentz Homes. I know there's a new promotion with Pentz Homes that involves a Lynx ticket giveaway. I just closed my email, so I don't have it super handy, Nate. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you reach out to the team at Pentz Homes, you have a chance to win Lynx tickets. And they're good tickets, too, I'm pretty sure. So definitely shout out our friends at Pentz Homes for that. And if you are even thinking about potentially buying or selling, doing anything with real estate, reach out to Nate for a chance to win some sweet Lynx tickets. Shout out again to the Hitting the Hardwood podcast network, Mitchell Hansen, Andrew Dukowitz, and my team there. Thank you again to Alanna Smith for taking so much time with me at the beginning of the episode. Thank you to DiJonai Carrington for talking to us for so long yesterday on your first day in town and all the ridiculousness that comes with that. And thank you again to you, Lynx fans. You are the best fans in the business. Please share this show with people. Like and subscribe. If you give it 5 stars on the internet, it's the equivalent to giving me just like a really enthusiastic high five in the hallways at Target Center. So go ahead and do that for me if you can. Please share the show with a friend. It really helps me grow the show a lot and give all of you, the best fans in the WNBA, the coverage you deserve. Once again, this is Lynx Happy Hour, where Lynx basketball always on special. I have been Terry Horseman. You have been excellent. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the game in New York on Sunday. First trip back to New York. That's going to be fun. And as always, have a great weekend, everybody.